All right, guys, welcome back. So today we're looking at the new Srixon line of irons, Matty boy. ZX4 made its introduction in the previous lineup. First time we had seen an extension to the 7s and the 5s. Obviously there's been a blade as well that comes and goes. But the 4 was an extension more in this new kind of super game improvement category.
Yeah.
And we liked it last time we tested it. We thought it was pretty good.
It was really good. Was that their first hollow iron?
It was.
Okay, so this will be the second time they've made a hollow iron.
Yeah.
Refined it a little bit. I mean, there's a bunch of changes. People will notice right away. It looks a lot different.
It really does, yeah. I mean, they've shrunk it significantly.
It's very compact.
You could see the 7 and the 5 and know that they're part of the same family. Last year, or last edition, you would have saw the 4 and went, is that part of the same family,
different.
or what's going on? I mean, to me, the 4 now almost looks like the 5.
I agree. It looks like the 5 used to look. I mean, the dress position is great on this.
Yeah.
I'm holding the 7 here. It's very playable looking. And the sole width, sure, is a little wide, but you're right. It looks kind of like the 5 did.
Definitely. And the reason for the sole width and the kind of still having, certainly at the bottom of the club around the sole, has the same design characteristics with the heavy weighting, lower CG. It's to cater to those stronger lofts that we know that they have. I mean, Mike, you're holding the wedge there, 43 degrees.
It's pretty strong.
We're seeing that now. That's kind of the new, super game improvement, loft option for the wedge.
Standard, yeah.
Yeah, and it's going to fly plenty high enough. It's going to stop plenty fast enough. It's just going to be for the players who want a little extra horsepower.
Absolutely.
Okay. Nothing too much new. I mean, I guess that the selling feature, if you like, or what you guys are going to be interested in is the slimming of the aesthetics with a boost in the ball speed and the MOI, an increase in the MOI. It is the longest blade length of any of the Srixon family.
Yep.
It's still not overly long though.
I was just going to say, if this is the longest,
that's the longest
I can't
one.
wait to see what the blade length on the blade, because this doesn't look too long at all.
They've done a nice job. I mean, when you held that out there, Matty, I think they've done a nice job of holding the score lines to a specific size.
Good point.
And the sort of chrome part out towards the toe, it is a reasonable size. So I think they're almost trying to trick the eye a little bit with the groove length,
which they've achieved. Yeah, they did. Well, it worked on me. So
definitely. So.
Is the sole new? Did the previous ZX4 have this tech sole?
It had it, but it was obviously so wide that functionally, I'm sure it was somewhat different.
Right.
So there's some attributes that are the same. As you narrow that sole, obviously CG moves closer towards the face, guys. The impact of moving the center of gravity closer to the face as you kind of lower the ball flight. You don't get the dynamic loft presented nearly as high.
Gotcha.
That's not as prevalent in an iron, because an iron goes from, that's a wide one and that's a narrower one. I mean, we're talking about, literally the measurements in millimeters.
Yeah.
But what you do to, counter that is you use multi-materials, you use a heavier, denser material down and low, and that pulls that CG back again.
Very nice.
All right.
So we'll get into it with Mikey, starting with the wedge.
Let's hit a few wedges. Mikey, you've got the stock KBS
Tour Light.
Tour Light.
In there.
Yeah.
Shaft in there. It's obviously it is what it is in terms of the category that it's in, Mikey. But it's not an offensively large head, is it?
No, honestly, looking down at it right away, I'll say from irons year to year, this is probably the biggest upgrade I've seen.
Yeah.
I mean, like we said, ZX4 last year, it looked like a hybrid driving iron style. This can blend into a set really easily.
We've chosen a slightly higher spin golf ball because we know that, obviously the loft being stronger, this is pretty much around your 9-iron loft.
Yeah, okay.
So for you spin-wise, I would love to see this in and around, I mean, you're not a high spin player anyway. If you spun this anywhere close to 6,700, I'd be really happy.
Okay. Sounded good.
Mikey feathering in the cuts to start the new year.
And a hole out? No, just short.
In there.
Good, nice.
That looked like it had a bit of spin, Mikey boy.
Yeah, it must have.
77.
77. It's pretty good. Totally.
You didn't love it, but I mean,
No,
you got
get
the
away with it.
identical result for the most part.
A little short.
Look at that.
Hello.
Slide that in for birdie. Tip your cap, off you go.
Sound a little better. That sounded great, dude. you're going to fly the green. You got to move that green back for him.
Interesting.
Hammered.
Mikey, you've got a little bit of what I've got going on right now. Your wedge never gave me any indication that you were about to carry that 181.
Yeah. No, I know, yeah.
So maybe the wedge is just flying a little shorter for him, but it's a great 7-iron, 180 in the air.
A meaty 7-iron.
It's good too, just a shade thin.
Yeah, a little skinny.
Might go in.
It's going to be all of it.
Now you're having no trouble, 175 in the air even on a slight miss hit.
When you flushed that, Mikey.
Yeah.
Just turned it over a little bit.
Tried to turn it over a bit.
Catch a piece, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's not a bad shot. From 180, that's not a bad shot.
Keep an eye on that spin. So it didn't really lower too much. We had, the first one that went a little right, the second went left.
Yeah.
But in picking on a kind of 18-yard pull versus the first one, you've only picked up 2 yards.
Which is good.
That's really good.
And that's what people are afraid of. They're always like, oh, I'm going to get jumpers, I'm going to get flyers, I can't use these irons. Doesn't look like, he's sacrificing much consistency of carry.
I would love for people, this is something I actually spoke to someone online about recently, and they asked, I'm worried about getting jumpers. I'd love for someone to find me one moment in time in the whole 5 years we've been doing this on the channel, one time we got a jumper from a ball speed perspective on the TXG channel. So if say your club head speed's 90 miles an hour, when all of a sudden the ball speed went to 3 miles an hour faster.
For no reason.
For no
explanation.
Jumpers, guys, are ball speed retention with a lower in the spin rate.
Yeah.
It's a fluctuation in launch conditions. You're not going to get jumpers. Like, I hate this term, and I hate that golf clubs are criticised this way for having these inconsistencies across the face where all of a sudden they produce 10 yards more. It doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen. If you're in the rough, sure, you're going to get a jumper.
You're going to get a lowering of spin with a maintenance of spin and launch angle. That's your jumper.
Or you shut the face a bit, the spin comes down a bit. That's what happened with Mikey there, but the reality is good performance, 2 yards difference is nothing.
If we again look at ball speed, it was actually a pull was lower ball speed than the one that went to the right with the exact same speed. This whole jumper thing is something that needs to kind of go away and be more understood for making better golf ball choices.
Totally agree.
Normally, protocol we've got is 4, 7, and wedge for testing. We've got a 5. We don't have the 4 to test, but at 23 degrees aloft, it's
basically 4.
a 4. Pretty much. So we're all right with it. 200 yards, I've got the green at Mikey. That's a big 5-iron.
Yeah, it's a big 5-iron.
By anyone's standards.
But I think it seems doable based on the 7-iron going 175, 180. So.
Yep.
Really good, Mikey.
Yeah, better strike.
Good. Easily flies the 199, 200.
Comfortable.
Curious about that one. 4,000 spin, that's fine. Close.
Sir.
A little skinny.
Fraction, yeah.
Nope.
Good miss.
Good.
That sounded great, dude.
Yeah, good strike.
Really nice. Yeah, it sounds. I know we haven't really commented on it yet, but the iron sounds really good. It doesn't sound clicky. Mikey, does it feel soft?
It feels great. It feels really, really good.
And the face is technically forged, so I guess we can blame a forged face for the soft feel. That makes sense.
Feels like there's a ton of meat behind the ball. It doesn't feel super light. I find when you get to this game improvement stuff, it just feels way too light. This feels like a ZX4 would feel. Just matches the set really nicely.
That's great. His numbers were great on that 5-iron.
Really good numbers. The one thing we generally have to do with Mikey is we have to make his longest irons a little more upright.
Okay, so that might have corrected the flight a bit. That's all it needs
to be here.
Yep.
If we make that little correction, that goes away really, really quickly. It maintains a little bit more of that kind of loft position, so points the face a little more left. You probably pick up 2 more yards, and that will kind of take him into a slightly nicer gapping window there between the 7 and the 5.
But no concerns on the height and
no.
Produced lots of ball speed, produced enough spin with the right ball choice. I think they sounded great. I think they look great.
No, as a fitter, it's nice to see an iron that, obviously has a ton of distance in it, but still has a bit of spin. We get into this category again, distance, no spin. So, not every customer that gets fit into these might have speed like I mean, I'm not fast, but not in that same category of speed, but it's still going to hold a green, which is nice.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think these are going to be we haven't tested the 7 and the 5s yet. I don't want to be kind of a downer, but I have a feeling those ones won't have evolved to the degree that these seem to have. These are like a really good set of irons now, whereas before they probably didn't fit that many people.
We always talk about the second generation of golf clubs, don't we?
Yeah.
And how we always look for the second generation to kind of see some, refinements and something maybe more significant. The first run is almost like, okay, let's throw this out to the market, get some feedback, let's do some research. I mean, you can do as much internal R&D as you want, but once you get it out into the field, you're going to get the feedback that really matters, which is consumer feedback. Went with clean colours, they went with blacks and whites and silvers. I really like that in a time when there's lots of reds and different things out there,
blues and everything else.
There's a spectrum of colours out there. My eyes always looking for classic and clean.
Yeah, they've done a great job.
That's what that is. All right, guys, we're going to review the 5s and the 7s later today. We're going to condense that into the same video. We feel like they're more of a joint venture, if you like.
I agree. And I think that combo set will be extremely popular this year, 5s and 7s. So that'll be the next video that you guys see.
Excellent. Okay, stay tuned for that, guys. We'll see you again soon.